Good morning, everyone. Starting out with the J200, the Aussie Top 40 Index. We saw the market hitting decent support and has since retraced some of that downward move. We're still in the longer term consolidation, so not really much going on here trend-wise, but certainly short-term looks like we bounced a little bit and are heading back to that resistance level at around 52,600. Obviously, there's a long way to go before we break out of the consolidation. We've got to get above that 55,000 mark, or we've got to get down there below 48,000. So for now, still range bound, and obviously, in this chart we can see that the market does pull against itself at the moment. For instance, we had Sasol running up quite nicely. Sasol's pulling back. We've got the banks selling off, now they're bouncing. So a little bit of tug of war going on there inside the index. So at this point, there's nothing going on trend-wise. We're just going to have to wait and see what the future brings when it comes to this longer-term consolidation. There aren't any new charts to look at. First Rand is looking promising though for a second entry. So we have a look here. We've seen First Rand, the trend changed back there in July, and since then we're just holding on to it. The idea is now 8 has crossed above 21 while the trend is up, but it happened right at resistance. So I want to see it closing above that green dotted line there, which is 71.55, 54, 55. A close above that, I'm looking to enter First Rand again. So that's what I'm looking for on First Rand. On Discovery, Discovery is also still pretty stable. It's in a small consolidation, starting there in the middle of August, and still sitting in that little range between just above 180 there, and then down to 165. So Discovery at this point is just a hold. No new triggers coming up. Sasol. Sasol's a little bit of a concern at the moment. We've seen rand strength coming through, and Sasol responding to that with a little ABC down. Whether that's going to stop at that 538 area or if it's going to drop further, I don't know. I'm going to move my stop loss just in case it doesn't hold above that area there. So I'm going to use previous resistance. I'm just going to put it in there. Let's get a price. So if Sasol closes below, excuse me, if Sasol closes below that 532 level, I'm going to have to then call it the end of the trade. So it's got to close below 532, and then the next day it has to break the low of that candle. So let's just see what happens. Stop loss is trading up. I just don't want to be holding Sasol way back to entry price. Then Capitec is also giving us a little bit of optimism here. We saw Friday quite a big close up. It's also just back above that old consolidation high, pushing through that again. The stop loss is not going to change. It's still there just above 900. The next entry, if the 8 crosses above the 21 here, that might be a second entry, so long as it is well below that 1020. Otherwise, we're going to have to wait for a break above resistance, which would be 1032. So a close above 1,032 Rand, then a break at that high. I would be looking to get into Capitec again. On the intraday side, we've got the Aussie Open this morning now. This is the hourly chart. This little gap here is just our continuous futures contract. The gap comes through, and there's not much that we can do about that. But we've seen the Aussie Open lower today, so it's gapped down on the open. For now, the trend is still to the upside, but it's looking reasonably weak right now. Obviously, it's only 9 o'clock, but shares will be opening, and then maybe we'll see some movement going through there. So for now, I'm just sitting on the sidelines waiting for the Aussie to give me some direction. We're going to have a look at the Dow. Now the Dow's a little bit interesting. We had a break above the all-time high here, and it closed above it. We can see that little thin orange line. It closed above it and has since come off. So the Dow potentially confirming a double top there on straightforward technical analysis. That could be a double top. I want to see 8 crossing below 21. ATMA below the 21, that would confirm for me an entry, an initial entry short on the Dow. Until that happens, I'm just going to sit and wait and see. If it does get above that high there, so that was, I think it's Thursday's high, 26,783. If it gets above that, I'm going to be long again. So for now, just sitting on the sidelines waiting for it. The longs have stopped out as it pulled back below that resistance. I had to just take some profit. So not much else to say about the Dow at this point. We can see here dollar rand. We've seen the rand strengthen again, so dollar rand dropping. 8 is crossed below 21, which is the short-term trend. The longer-term trend is still up. 21 is still above 89. The high-low fibs, there's nothing really happening there at this point. The monthly high-low, it's right in the consolidation range there between 61 and 38. So no real direction at this point. I would expect some consolidation just between that, 1398 to 1450. So as long as it stays in that range, it's consolidating. If it breaks below that, we'll have another look at it. For now, it's just I'm just watching it, waiting to see what happens going forward. We have seen US dollar strength through the rest of the currency markets. Obviously, the rand just going against the general trend at this point. But then also, we had quite a big. The rand weakened very strongly, very sharply, very quickly. So we had to see some form of retracement, so the market can decide what to do next. We look at gold. Gold not confirming the dollar strength at all. Gold very flat, very sideways, just sitting there doing nothing, which is a little bit concerning if you are long the dollar. Long the dollar, we want to see gold dropping while there's dollar strength coming through. At this point in time, gold is not confirming the strength. That just means any dollar longs, the stop losses are going to be kept tight unless gold does something to break the consolidation here. If gold does break up, we're probably going to see some dollar weakness. If gold does break to the downside, we should see some dollar strength. We're going to have a look at pound dollar. So pound dollar, we can see on the monthly high lows, it broke last week, went straight to target 1, then it retraced as the as dollar strength came through, and just back to that 89 level. So really nothing happening here. The trend is still to the downside. We've got a bigger ABC going through here, which means if 8 and 21 do cross to the downside, I'm going to go short on cable, and then we'll just take it from there. But for now, there's nothing really happening. If we go to Brent, Brent has made new highs. I've taken a long on Brent, a very small position, just simply got in a bit late, and we can just see that old resistance level broke. The monthly high-low fib, it's went through target 1. Target 2 is up there at 161.8, which is around that $82-83 a barrel. It's a very short-term target, but for now the bigger target is also 83. So they're both sitting on the same level. We should see some resistance there, but if I'm long, so I would like to see that moving higher. The problem is it's been a very, very strong trend here, so it can turn at any time. It's just OPEC, sorry, just to give some clarity there, OPEC came out and said that they are not going to increase production, so Brent has broken out on that news. If we go to Euro US dollar, Euro dollar is above the monthly high-low fib here, so the next target is 1.1848, and then ultimately 119.90. So for now, Euro dollar, the monthly high-low fib is triggered, and the 21 is almost crossing the 89 there. If it goes a little bit higher today, we're going to get that crossover. Then when it closes at midnight tonight, that would be a trigger long on a break of the high of today's candle if it does cross up. If it crosses down, then the longer term trend hasn't changed yet. We'll have to just wait and see what happens. So euro dollar is still holding up in the eye of the dollar strength. It hasn't retraced very strongly, so not responding to dollar strength at this point. Dollar yen, on the other hand, is now sitting at serious resistance here, and you can see that 50 there is the yearly high-low fib, so that's a very strong level of resistance. A close above that level, I'm going to go long dollar yen. It's finally breaking out of the shorter term consolidation that we've seen this year, but longer term, we still got to get above that 114.58 area, so that 61.8% of the yearly high-low. A break above that would really confirm the upward trend. The longer term trend is to the upside. The shorter term trend is currently to the upside. So 8 is above 21, 21 is above 89. Those trends are pretty strong. I'm going to take an initial trade on a close above that 50 mark. So just get a price there, 112.95ish. Close above that, I'll be long, and a close above 61.8 over there, I'll be long again. So 114.30. Trade safely, and we'll chat again next week, Monday. Thank you very much.